The Balance returned for a new season of meaningful conversation. Taking a close look at the development arena. Fresh angle of introducing 3 new segments. Join the first segment, Chat On. And whenever the chat is on, please grab the opportunity. Join our second segment, Breaking the Glass. Finding out great people that have achieved great things. And we will find out how they break the glass. Of course, our final segment, Walk the Talk. Let's put the talk to actions. That's what it means. Where we will find out so many special things that have been put on social medias, that have been put into talks, but we will find out exactly where the works face. Walk the talk. The Balance Show is back again with exciting interface only on GRTS TV. Hello, viewers, good evening. Once again, welcome to this wonderful show, The Balance. And today, once again, another episode of Breaking the Glass.
Sure, definitely, Baba.
Now, take us through who is going to break the glass today.
Well, today we are going to have a high-profile delegate in the building here, and he goes by the name Mayor Talib Bensouda. I know you all love him. Regardless of which party you are in, he's just phenomenal, absolutely a figure of unity and very inspiring as well. So I'd want to take you through his biography. It's quite much that he has achieved. Mayor Talib Bensouda, born in 1986, is the youngest mayor in the Gambian history. And in 2018, at just 32 years old, Talib blazed to a stunning victory in the KMC mayoral election. Talib is an entrepreneur at heart. At just 19, while studying in Canada, Talib started painting to pay his bills and work his way up to a partner franchise at a college pro painter, a seasonal painting business. He also doubled as a production manager of the operations, hiring and managing 12 staff and 3 job sites manager. At the close of 2 summers, that is 10 months, he oversaw the painting of over 150 homes within the Greater Toronto area. While working as a maintenance technician in the University of Toronto, Talib was privy to the mountain waste problem within the university and furthermore within the Mississauga Principal School District Board. He later came back to the Gambia and got a job at Takaful Gambia Limited while working in Takaful at the former Banjul headquarters. Then after leaving Takaful, he developed the now successful Baby Mariam diaper brand, the Sohna Seed sanitary pad line, the Ami tomato paste line, and several others in the pipeline. With the distinctive trading formula, Safaro has grown to more than 40 staff members and over 5 brands that are all market leaders, Baba. And away from that, he also believes in the concept of mutual benefits for all stakeholders and also believes in moderation of benefits to all. After 22 years of Jammeh rule, Talib consistently voiced concern to friends, colleagues, and on social media about the lack of vision, lack of opportunity, and the repressive nature of the Jammeh regime. He vehemently advocated for the formation of the coalition in 2016 and supported the campaign of then candidate Adama Barrow representing the coalition. The euphoria that followed was quickly quashed by Jammeh's announcement rejecting the results a week later. In frustration, Talib banded with fellow like-minded youth and became one of the founding members of the Gambia Have Decided movement. The University of Toronto economics graduate came to office with a tall order, and he has since not disappointed. In just 2 years, 10 months in office, the young mayor has been impactful with many achievements, including introducing 500 street bins and 9 skip bins to the municipality, employing 300 personnel in few projects, boasting the image of the council through various street cleaning exercises and flood prevention cleanups, leading the staff restructuring exercises and improving the financial health of the council, improving market infrastructure and sanitation, 100 million small business loan package for women and 20 million loan package for the youth, improving market infrastructure and coordinating COVID-19 response, administrative rules, backwater dump site fencing, bylaws. His most notable project being the Mbalit project, which reintroduced residential and commercial waste collection throughout the municipality via a brand new 24 garbage truck fleet with over 100 staff. The ambitious young businessman hasn't stopped there. He has plans to build the first municipal library at the tune of $3.5 million, to introduce urban public transportation, to build feeder roads, to introduce 10 new standard markets in KM, to introduce a standard waste processing facility, street addressing, amongst his many plans. He is a man on a mission, with his greatest goal being to unite people of different political parties and tribes through his slogan, "Together for a better KM." Talib is a businessman, a family man with a beautiful wife and 2 children.
Okay, of course, viewers, wonderful from Al Hassan, you heard it. He has break the glass. But how? Mayor, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Of course, it's a pleasure having you on the show. This show is about breaking the glass. Take us through your educational background.
Thank you. Hello to all the listeners. So I started school, like most people, from kindergarten. I did not switch schools much. I did my entire schooling in one school, which was Marina International School. I did my nursery school, junior school, middle school, high school, and I graduated from there. And then I went for further education. I chose Canada because it was a place where I didn't know anybody. And I wanted to go to a place to have a challenge, to discover new things. And so I attended the University of Toronto. And also I went to college. I did 2 schools in one go. I went to a college also called Sheraton Institute of Technology. And one of my courses was digital communications. So maybe I should have come and work for GRTS.
Yeah.
And so I also did economics at the University of Toronto. And it was a double major. And I worked at the same time. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, that is a great achievement. Now, let's come to the point where during school, many students who are watching right now pass those difficulties.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the difficulties they have is financial.
Yeah.
You were not having financial difficulties.
I did. So I had to work to pay my bills. I had to work to pay my rent, to put food on the table. So to pay for my livelihood. I did have support from my parents to pay for the school, because of course that's very expensive. But in terms of living and cost, rent, etc., I had to work. I have 3 other brothers, and they were all going to school. So there's only so far your parents can support you. So it's something we had to do, and to make sure we do our part as well. So it's not by choice; it's a requirement. But I think also it's very important to work and hustle per se, because you get a lot of personal growth from that, and then you grow up to be an independent human being.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Now let's balance the point where some people will say, while people are watching, and they will say, no, well, it is obvious. Talib is from a big family, and then definitely he's going to make it.
All right.
Now, in another life situation, you can see other people who come from a big family, and yet still they will find it difficult to succeed.
So I did not feel that we were rich when I was growing up. I guess now that people would say we are rich because maybe we have success now as a family. But when we were growing up, it was mostly my mother who was working and supporting, as a lawyer who was trying to make it. So like I said, we had to do our own part as well when we traveled. And when we came back, we all set up in various businesses and we invested in various businesses. And I guess now people would feel that we are rich, although I have my doubts. It's just, this is the conception or misconception. And I mean, you can have support, you can have a helping hand from family members, from parents, but if you do not do your part, you will never make it.
At times in life, you can be growing, trying to get there. And then sometimes you just have stumble blocks right in front of you.
It is difficult. For example, when I first started university, so I did not have money to pay my rent, to put food on my table. There's a story actually. I took a lot of rui, mono. My grandma packed many of these packs. Well, my grandma is a Nyominka. But she packed a lot of these bags. As you know, when you're traveling, they say, oh, take some mono, and time to time you cook it and eat it. But I did not have a job, and I did not have income for a long time. And I was living with one of my friends from Sierra Leone, Dalmain Jones. And I was struggling. But those packs actually saved me, because I was eating it for breakfast and lunch and dinner for almost 3 months.
Are you still eating rui?
Yes, time to time. Time to time. But at some point, the taste went away. You know, I used to try various things. Sometimes I'll put lime, sometimes I'll change the formula, just so I feel like I'm eating something different. But it's very difficult in the Western world sometimes. And I remember when I went to Canada, they did not allow international students who had an international visa to actually walk outside of the school. So you can only walk inside of the school, but you cannot get jobs out in public. And it was very difficult because all the jobs in the school were very competitive. All the international students were trying to get it. And obviously I couldn't find a job in this school. So for those certain months, I can't remember how long, it was very, very difficult.
How did you feel like, for example, in that moment?
Yeah.
You were like, okay, you know what, I should go back to Ghana. Education
Yeah.
just stop lying.
Well, you know, you feel very destitute. And you know, when you are in those types of countries alone, you feel abandoned and lonely. But also you don't want to put your parents to shame. You don't want to call and complain because they've already done more than enough by paying for your school. So those struggles, you have to sort of figure it out on your own. So eventually, me and my friend, we found a Chinese guy who was willing to pay us what we call under the table. Yes, so meaning, you are not in the books. So they only pay you cash. Wow. So government would not know that you are working. So it's the back door. It's the back door payment. Yeah. So we just found the number on somewhere advertising for a painter man. Okay. And when we got the number, we called him and he came. We interviewed until he said, okay, you are hired. And we told him, but we have one problem. He said, what? We said, we are international students. We're not allowed to work. And thankfully, he was like, okay, I will just pay you less, but I'll pay you under the table. It's cheaper for me and good for you. So, yes, because it's better than no pay, right? So that's how I went into painting. So we started painting houses. It was very tough because every morning you wake up, you wear your painting clothes. And usually, if you know how a painter man looks, there's a lot of paint on your body. At least the painter men who are not very good. You have a lot of paint. They say the good painter man, you don't see a lot of paint. But we are very bad at first. Yeah. Well, eventually I became an excellent painter man. Yeah. But when I started, I was very poor. So we used to go about 2-hour bus ride every morning. We changed buses 3 times to get to where we needed to go. And it was about 2 hours by the time you calculate. And that's how we started. We started painting and painting and painting. And the taste of money for the first time was very sweet. And we threw the Rui. Then I did not eat Rui for a very long time. I think maybe 4 or 5 years.
I saw one of your pictures like in the restaurant, maybe eating the
Shawarma.
shawarma.
Maybe that's my first paycheck.
Let's say you don't mayo.
Yes.
He has a skill.
Yes.
Now, so many people are out there, we only focus on the book in terms of education.
Yeah.
We go to school, all our mind is, when I graduate, I'll get a job.
Yeah.
But we don't try to get a skill because how do you know that even if you don't get a job, you can still be a painter?
Actually, and this is so true because once I acquired the skills and I understood the business, I saw there was a lot of money if you own the painting company. Actually, when I came back to Gambia, one of the first thoughts I had is, can I start a painting company here in Gambia? Because I saw the amount of revenue you can make, in Canada. And I was thinking, can you sort of do it in Gambia? So when I started painting, we use ladders up to 40 feet long. You climb on top of the ladder, what we call anchors, you nail it on the roof and you put an A-frame on it, and you're lying down very high in the air, painting people's story buildings.
Because I'm scared of height. Maybe I'll be looking just down and be like, okay, I'm going down.
Very difficult, very difficult. So you have to, sometimes when it's too high, company rules is you have to wear a harness. In case you fall, at least you can have something to hold you. So we started like that, and eventually I was improving, and this is when I realized I have leadership skills. By then I was 18 years.
That's where the leadership.
I started seeing that because when I was young, I was always known to be very charismatic in terms of, I was usually I don't want to use the word, but the troublesome one in the classroom.
It's like, like in school, and hey, where is this guy?
Yes.
Where is this guy?
So the teachers in my report card, they used to say, Talib is very smart, but he creates chaos in the classroom.
No,
He's the instigator in the classroom. So I was always the one making jokes. I was the back. I was always in the.
That's what they do. They make a lot of.
I was always in the back. I was always in the back throwing chalk, or we used to have fita, and all these things, yeah. So
It's good to have a skill.
yes.
That advice goes to the student.
Yes.
Either in university
Yes.
or college
Yes.
student. It's always good to have a skill.
As a backup plan.
In case of anything.
Absolutely.
It happens in so many areas whereby if you don't have skills, the next minute you saw yourself in the fire.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I started painting, I started demonstrating leadership skills. So luckily enough, at that time, Canada changed the rules that international students can now work outside of campus, and they just need to get a work permit. And then I was now recognized in the company. So the general manager of the region came one day to supervise and saw that I can paint and I am sort of being a team leader, communicating, and he promoted me to a job site manager. From a job site manager, they promoted me to a production manager. And all of this I'm balancing with school. But luckily enough, in Canada, painting is sort of seasonal. So you can only paint during the hot months, because when it's too cold, it's impossible. Yes. Yeah, so the next summer, they actually wrote to me and said they wanted me to be a production manager and also a franchise partner. So to have actual shares in the franchise within the company of that particular region. So I accepted the offer. And, that's when I learned my first business skills. So I was 19, I employed somebody as old as 45. And I was always scared that he would know my age. So I always used to pretend that I was older than I was really.
I know there is one skill that you possess. Your humbleness.
Yeah.
You can be stubborn, but you still possess what we call humbleness.
Well, I guess only people can say that about you. But I think I can build from scratch, and I don't look down on any job. And I've been a painter, I've been a garbage collector, I've been a maintenance technician, fixing things. So I've done many, many odd jobs. I have been an advertiser. I think one of the photos I think Aisha sent you, I was promoting a product on the street. And these are difficult jobs because many people, you go to them, they ignore you. They tell you, get away from me. And if you learn to build a thick skin, you know, and I think it's very important in life. Yeah, very important. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's come to the point where a man growing, and then there is a point that you reach and say, it's sad today. I just don't know.
Yeah.
You know, what is your saddest moment during your life?
That is very difficult. I can't. There's been many moments you doubt yourself.
Let's count the one that kind of a little bit stop your growing stage.
Yeah.
The moment that you say, this is, I definitely can do it. Because these are moments happening to people and they can't grow anymore. They just
I mean, there's been very, very many difficult moments where you doubt, where you're lonely. And in my family, they always raise us to sort of suck it up and walk. So you're always scared to even tell people that I feel that I'm not going to make it, or I feel like things are going very bad, because you're expected when things are going bad to suck it up and do something about it. So there's been many moments, nobody can say in their life, they've had many hardships. And I felt very lonely in those moments. But I always sit and come back and, okay, how do I fix this problem? So this is where I've sort of learned my skills of problem solving. I don't look at any problem too great to solve. Like I've always said, I always tell even people that I lead today, the greatest gift you have as a human being is your brain. And your brain, the one gift God has given you is the ability to create, the ability to adapt, the ability to sort of use your ingenuity to come up with solutions. There's no problem too great. If other people are doing it, God has given them the same brain you have. So just like when I did not have a ability to have a job and I was suffering, I found the painting gig. There was another time I did the maintenance. And during the time when I was a maintenance technician, I saw an opportunity in recycling. And I started a recycling business. And I called it R cubed, reduce, reuse, recycle. I was employee number 1 with my friend, 2 of us. We would fill containers with our hands. We would do everything by ourselves. It was 2 employees. So one lesson for youths is never look at yourself as too important or too great to do any job. One of the best things you can do actually is building from scratch. Because when you build from scratch, you value every line of the process and you understand every stage, and you can always go back. Even if you fail, you can always start from scratch. So it reminds me, for example, when I was leaving Takaful, when I was with Takaful Insurance, I had a car, company car. I had a nice office. I had a decent salary for that time. This was in 2011. But when I was leaving to decide to start my own company, I lost all those benefits. I had to go back and take a taxi again to go to work.
It's like you start from scratch.
Again.
It's like somebody climbing and then fall.
Exactly.
And then you think
Exactly.
you're going to get up.
And when I was in Banjul, so for about a year, I used to take a taxi to Banjul, where I was starting my business.
Like in some moment that your friends will be like, is that not that?
They were doing that.
Is that not
I had many rumors where friends would be like, oh, Talib is now having a small shop and he's in taxis every day. And when I got to Banjul, I actually bought a bicycle. So I used to have my samples and I would ride through Banjul with my samples on a bicycle.
Somebody who was driving a car.
Exactly.
Now driving a bicycle.
And this is in 2015.
Can you imagine? So let's see how you connect from that bicycle.
Exactly.
On a car.
Exactly. So after a few months, I borrowed, my brother was going to England for something. He was a lawyer. And I borrowed his car. So for about 2 months, I was using his car to take my samples. And now I could leave and go all the way to Sukuta, go all the way to Birkama, Busumbala area, and show my samples. But by the time he returned, I did not want to go back to the bicycle. So this was just 5 years ago, 2015.
Wow, can you imagine?
Yeah.
Now that brings me to a very important question.
Yeah.
Because after the selling of the sample, going around, coming up again, you now came into politics.
Yes.
How did somebody? How did that businessman get into politics?
I always tell this story. There's one welder man. His name is Mamshe. I've known him for a very long time. He always looks at me and says, Talib, danga nyemen chono de. Maneko, why? Because you were in Canada and you could have stayed there. You built your life. But you decided to come back to Gambia and work at an insurance company as a marketing manager. Maneko, and what's wrong with that? He said, you could have made more money in Canada. You left that, abandoned all your cars and benefits, started a small shop and started selling parts and stuff like that. He said, while you build your business, until it's grown, you have a lot of staff and they're working for you, and then you decide to abandon that and start from scratch in politics. So I always like a challenge, and I'm not afraid to get into anything.
Any challenge.
And try to build from scratch.
The Balance returned for a new season of meaningful conversation. Taking a close look at the development arena. Fresh angle of introducing 3 new segments. Join the 4th segment, Chat On. And whenever the chat is on, please grab the opportunity. Join our 2nd segment, Breaking the Glass. Finding out great people that have achieved great things. And we will find out how they break the glass. Of course, our final segment, Walk the Talk. Let's put the talk to actions. That's what it means. Where we will find out so many special things that have been put on social medias, that have been put into talks, but we will find out exactly where the works face. Walk the talk. The Balance Show is back again with exciting interface only on GRTS TV.